Hello, I'm Stephen Coates, professional watercolour artist, tutor and author. Today I'd like to introduce to you a fabulous range of brushes that I use for my work. So first up is the Hake or the Harke, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Now I can't pretend to have invented this. This was introduced to this country first by the great Ron Ranson. It's available in a large and a medium, and I now want to show you just how wonderful and how versatile this brush is. So this is a 15 by 11 quarter imperial sheet of Bockingford paper. This is 300 grams, and I've soaked the Hake in the water, and I'm now just brushing it using the full width of the brush to wet the paper evenly all the way across the surface. I'm picking up a little bit of cerulean blue directly off the palette. This is straight from the tube. I'm going to gently flick this. Now you can see how the action of the brush has now changed. I'm now using the brush with much shorter little turns of the wrist just to flick the cerulean blue into place throughout the area of the sky. Dipping straight into a plum colour, which is ultramarine and light red. And now I'm starting the brush strokes on the tape, and I'm using the full width of the brush, as you can see. So I'm getting really wide brush strokes. I'm turning the brush so that just the trailing corner is touching the paper like that. So full width and then a turn to get these much gentler tapering ends to the clouds. It's the most delicate of brush strokes just to produce a few clouds lower down, and I'm going to charge up these clouds with some more paint to make them look more dramatic and make them more three-dimensional. Okay, I left that sky to develop for quite a long time, then dried it off, and as you can see I've just painted the horizon of the sea along here, drifting into a little bit of water. Now I'm going to use the medium Hake. This is a little bit smaller than the one I used for the sky. And I've soaked this and I've scraped out quite a lot of the water because I don't want this to be too wet. So I'm going to start by dragging some raw sienna through here. Now as you can see, this is quite dry. I don't want this to come too far. Now what I'm going to do is pull the brush across, and because the paper is dry at the bottom, it's kind of catching on the bumps on the paper and it's leaving a few nice white sparkly bits. Some of this is dry now at the bottom, some of it is still damp, but nevertheless I can just keep working the brush. I'm now going to turn the brush this way on horizontally and start bobbling the brush up and down, which will now start to create the impression of little bits of seaweed and little bits of vegetation. These darker bits always add contrast to the picture. Next, it's the mini Hake or mini Harke. This has exactly the same goat hair in the brush head as the traditional Hake, and I specified the shape and size of this for my work. It's got a traditional metal ferrule and of course a normal wooden handle. Let's have a look at this in action. I've just got a piece of Bockingford paper here, which is 28 by 19, so it's quite a small study. This is where the mini Hake is just is wonderful. So I'm just going to fill the mini Hake with water and brush it across the whole surface of the paper really gently. So now I'm just picking up some raw sienna and literally I'm going to flick that all the way across the sky, leaving a few white patches here and there as well. It doesn't have to be even. And I want some in the water as well. Remember, I'm doing the whole wash in one go, so I need a little bit of the whatever colour is in the sky will be reflecting in the water below. And then I'm going to go directly to this plum mix, and this is ultramarine and light red. Starting the brush strokes on the tape, as you can see. I'm just flicking the colour in very gently. So I'm just chopping the brush around a little bit now to try and get those clouds to be look a little bit more angry, if you like. I'm going to have a little flick of little flick of cloud coming up here. And then I'm just going to strengthen that one last time. And then I'm going to just let the water on the paper finish the sky off for me. That's really important, to get the paint on, get it done with, and then just trust the water on the paper. That's what makes watercolour skies so good. Now a little bit of that cloud colour will be reflecting in the water as well, so I'll just drift a little bit of what's left in the brush through the water there as well. I'm just going to show you the versatility of the mini hake again. While it's dry, I'm going to sort of pull it back through the paint like this. It's probably just a touch too dry. And when I do that, the brush will just bend and the brush tips will open up. And I'm just going to try bouncing the brush down gently to create a few reeds growing in the margins over here. Now I love my round brushes just like everybody else, and I've always used the Pro Lean series by Pro Arte, but I wanted a brush that was a little bit longer and a little bit sharper, and I asked them if they could make it for me. Now at the time I asked, they informed me that they had a new synthetic hair in stock which had just been manufactured, and it's much finer than the Pro Lean and is slightly wavy, and it behaves much more like a sable brush. Here they are. This is the 6, the 8 and the 10. This is called the Spearhead, and let's have a look at it on paper. Have a look at the shape of the brush head. Very much like a javelin tip, so a little bit longer than a standard round brush with a much sharper point and a much softer taper. So I'm just running the number 10 brush round in this lovely puddle of what I call a plum colour. This is ultramarine and light red mixed together, filling the brush head up. And we can now see the fluidity of this brush stroke. It just seems to go on forever. Just look how much paint that brush is delivering. This is where this brush, spearhead brush, comes in really well. Is I'm going to just load the paint at the top of, not going to be in too much of a rush to get the paint down. I'm just going to keep loading a little bit of paint to the brush, which keeps that bead of paint flowing, allowing me to get a really soft transition. And I'm just going to put a flagpole there with the rigger, and then I can just keep moving this down here. As you can see, I'm not allowing any part of this or the brush to run dry. I'm literally letting the paint flow downwards. There's probably just enough now for me to get across there and finish that off like that. This brush has been around a little while now, so you may have already seen it. There are 3 sizes, a small, a medium and a large, and this brush head was my own brainchild. I designed this. It's got a unique semicircular ferrule, and the brush head is made with hog hair and another fine hair mixed with it to help hold the water. You can get these brushes singly, or you can get them in a set of 3 like this. So let's have a look at the foliator in action. I'm now going to continue with this painting that we did earlier, and I'm going to show you the foliator. I've got a medium foliator in my hand here, and I'm basically got the palette and I'm stirring the brush, pressing it down, stirring it round into this quite loose burnt sienna, and you'll see that the brush stroke from the foliator, if I just hold it at about 60 degrees to the paper, if I give it a little prod, bounce it up and down like this, I can create a really fabulous texture that looks just like foliage. So we're going to make it look like there's some little shrubs and little trees just growing along the margins of the shore here using the foliator. So it's just a case of practicing with it to keep the brush bouncing up and down and making it all look quite natural. The plum colour I'm just dropping in now is blending into the burnt sienna that's already on the paper and giving it lots of little dark bits and lots of contrast. And I'm just going to use the brush to finish that bit off by just sort of blobbing it down like this and just dragging it along as though it was almost as though it was coming all the way down to this shore's edge here and there. So let's have a look at the Cimeter. Here it is, also known as a sword liner, but with these I asked them to be made with a much longer handle, and it's got this beautiful gold ferrule which makes them look really classy. I can't tell you much more about this brush, I just need to show you on paper. So it's got a flat profile, as you can see. So the brush comes out flat, it's very long, and then it's got this beautiful curved chamfer which ends in virtually a single hair. I'm now going to finish off this painting using the Cimeter. So this is the medium Cimeter, and I've wet it, and I'm going to fill it with loads and loads of the burnt sienna. I'm going to hold the handle of the brush quite low down near this end, which gives me all this movement as I start to flick the brush. And now these are just random, delicate flicks of the brush. We can go as high as we like. Every single brush stroke is unique, which makes these reeds and grasses all along the shore's edge here really natural. Again, while the burnt sienna is still wet, some of this plum will blend into the burnt sienna. Let's have a few longer ones here as well. Let's be really outrageous. Some of these reeds might be in flower, so we can just flick that brush around a little, and maybe looks like there's a few flower heads here and there. And it is just a little scribble with the tip of the brush. Energetic and expressive. So I'm literally going to finish the painting off now. I'm going to continue with the Cimeter, and I'm going to introduce and create some more bits of vegetation and reeds and grasses just down here in the foreground, which will just help to finish off the painting and give it a little bit more depth. So there it is, my finished painting. I've had a lot of fun with that. I hope you've been able to see how I've been able to produce a painting very quickly with my fabulous range of brushes. I hope you'll give them a try and have lots of fun with them too. Well, that's it from me for now. I hope you've been inspired by these wonderful brushes. Remember, they're all available now on the painter's online website, and the information for that is at the bottom of the screen now. And thank you so much for watching.